Guys, it's going down this weekend at UFC 294 with Makhachev stepping into a rematch with Volkanovski. My partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible offer for all new customers who sign up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers who bet just $5 on any of this weekend's fights will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds or method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So click on the link below and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. What weight class is this fight with Eddie?
75. It's in boxing, it's I think it's middleweight in boxing.
But 175 pounds is the weight class.
Yes.
You, up until 3 days ago, were getting ready to possibly fight Logan at, I believe, 185 was that weight class?
I went to Manchester. I was trying to weigh, I was around like 193 to 195. And then like 2 days of eating chicken salad and drinking water, I was 186 the morning of. I was actually going to go eat breakfast to try to gain weight before I actually officially weighed in. But then we tried to make the Idris Virgo fight, so I went ahead and weighed in at 186.
When you were out there, by the way, was there a time where you thought you were going in? Like, was there a time once you arrived in England? Because I think you guys all traveled the same time, meaning Dylan was in town too. Was there ever a time that you thought, hey, I'm going in, Dylan's not going to do this fight?
All week they messed with me, even the night of the fight, because I wasn't downstairs to go in the car at, 6:30. I was like, that's going to be too early. It's 4 hours before. They're like, Dylan's late, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's 4 hours to the fight. He's not going to be there exactly when you guys say. Even up until the point, I was dressed in the back, and I was like, they're about to call us in. But, Dylan, I thought Dylan was going to go fight, and I thought maybe it was my fault that I didn't go in the press conference and go, hey, Dylan, you're not facing off. You're not weighing in. This is my fight. I'm taking this fight from you. Maybe, I'm not that much of an asshole. I didn't want to have to, I don't know. So, he showed up. He had his family. I was like, oh, he's fighting. His parents are here and shit. Like, he's going to fight. But I was ready in the back. And then when they started fighting after the first round, I took my gloves and shit off.
That was only 4 or 5 days ago this weekend. You come back to the States. Is that when Feldman calls you and tells you this Eddie Alvarez thing is happening? Or did you have 2 matches lined up at once and just had to stay quiet about it?
Yeah, I knew. I signed to Eddie Alvarez before I even went to Manchester. And I was waiting for them to announce it. They said it was going to be him over a month ago, I think.
And I know I keep beating on this drum. I'm just so curious about, I love this match. I've seen enough fights, and I'm sure you can relate to that, but I only see very few fights where I feel an emotion, and I yelled when I go, yes, when I saw this fight. But I'm still hung up on the weight class. 175 is perfect. You fought at 170. Eddie fought at 170. Everybody gets it. But I'm hung up on it. Did you guys argue? Did you want it bigger because you were doing the Jake Paul thing and Eddie wanted it smaller and you came in the middle? How did we agree on 175?
I definitely couldn't go lower than 175. And I did put on some muscle to go up to 85 to fight Luke. I actually felt like I was cutting weight that week. I originally said to my manager, I was like, because there's other guys calling me out too that were smaller. And I was like, well, come up to 185. Let me keep going at 85. But if I wanted the Eddie Alvarez thing, it was like I was going to have to cut the weight again. And I was like 175. I fought twice at 175 in bare knuckle. And then it just kind of seemed like God worked it out where I was like, oh, damn, I'm in shape. I'm 186. 10, 11 pounds to 175 would be so fast and so sharp at that weight. Let's just do it. I haven't been pumping the iron like that. I was trying to eat. My body wouldn't keep the weight on as I'm in such good shape right now. I did like 13 rounds yesterday.
Well, this is awesome, man. I appreciate you calling back. I wanted some of this info. Thank you, bro. That was interesting for me. And I hope it was for you guys. And let me tell you why I kept digging into the weight. I dug into the weight because one thing that I'm not convinced that you guys are aware of is Eddie Alvarez's time at one championship. He had some fights at 185 pounds. So, and it was too big. Eddie's not an 85 pounder. I'm not fully convinced he's a 70-pounder. I know he's tough enough to go fight 70. He's a 55-pounder. He's a perfect 55-pounder. Now, when you start talking 70 and 75 for 55, you're kind of saying the same thing. But when you start going into 185, we start to need a little bit of an explanation. Perry's last fight within bare knuckle against Luke Rockhold, okay? Perry's a great fighter. He's got experience boxing. He's got experience in bare knuckle. He's taking on a world champion. He's taking on a future Hall of Famer from 185 pounds. Perry's not big enough. That was a belief. When Perry showed that he was big enough, okay, great. One time. Now let's get you back to your weight class. Well, that wasn't the opportunity that presented himself. All of a sudden, he's not only went up against Luke, he's asked to go up another weight class to go in there with Jake Paul to 195 pounds. Logan Paul. But that's in line with Logan Paul. Logan has always been very honest, including the night that he fought Floyd Mayweather. I am bigger. That's my advantage. You are more experienced. That's your advantage. I'm willing to risk that I can nullify some of your benefits. Like, it's one of these things where it's above board and it's acceptable. Dave Feldman doesn't do things that same way. Dave Feldman is going to put on championship matches. He's going to put on big main events. So the weight class is of paramount importance. It's of paramount importance to know who's taking the risk, who's screwing around, who cares and wants to win within a division, who's trying to get a paycheck. It's important, and we can figure out a lot of those things, even if some of it lends us to speculation, if we know the weight class. So now that we know it's 175 pounds, which is right where they both should be fighting at, that gives Eddie an opportunity to alleviate a lot of the outside stresses and fully focus on training. It gives Perry the ability to up his conditioning as a byproduct of pulling some of that weight back off. It's extremely important. I will tell you, if he would have told me 185 pounds or he told me 190 pounds, it would have deflated me a little bit. 175 pounds changes the entire dynamic. It lets us know everyone's serious. Nobody's here for anything other than victory, and that's what this match needs to be about. After talking to Perry, I'm convinced that it is.